afterwards, it was when the Americans dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and then ended the war by complete surrender. So many people were wondering, was really the battle for Okinawa really important? Well, of course it was, because we didn't know if they were going to drop the bomb or end the war that way. But the idea is that the Americans wanted to take over Okinawa because they would consider it would be kind of like a stationary aircraft carrier, because they'd be able to land all their airplanes here, and then that would be their final bombing run to bomb Tokyo, etc. like that, right? So it was very strategic. So the United States had to come and take over Okinawa, and they actually landed right here, you guys, right here in this area. This is where the Americans first landed. They landed here. Some older people there said that they remember when they were little kids that they couldn't even see the water. There were so many ships that were out there. And so the Japanese war machine, right? Now remember, it's not the Japanese people that were bad. It's not the German people that were bad. It is the Japanese Imperial Army that was bad. It was the Nazis who were bad. Follow me? So the Japanese war machine, which was the Imperial Army, told the Okinawan people that when Americans land, they're going to do horrible things to your wives and your children and everything. So it's better to commit suicide than to surrender. And so we're going to look at Suicide Point over here, is where a lot of the peasants committed suicide when the Americans landed, right? But in fact, it was the opposite. The Americans came and they really helped liberate the Okinawan people, because the Japanese war machine really took advantage of the Okinawan people. They considered them less than Japanese, so that they were doing all types of like labor, hard labor, and everything. So it was a very difficult one. So anyway, so it was right here where the Americans first landed in Okinawa. And at this point, they began to land, and then they swept down south, because there was really nothing up north, okay? Not much. So the whole war went to sweep down to the south, and eventually we'll show you where the war ended in weeks to come. Yeah, I'll say that. So how long was the battle for Okinawa?
3 months.
Okay, about 3 months. Good, good, good. Now, instead, they thought it was going to be a Normandy landing. Remember the battle of Normandy? So they fought, the Germans fought, and they had to just waves upon soldiers, and the idea was to overwhelm the Germans, and finally they would land, okay? Well, they thought that it was going to be another Normandy landing, but it wasn't like that. The Japanese said we're going to fight a war of attrition, which means that we're going to fight to the last man. So instead of fighting right here, the Japanese went back into the mountains and the hills, and they hunkered in and bunkered in, and then they fought. The Americans, the Marines had to fight every hill and take every hill. So it was a war of attrition. It lasted 3 months. Many American lives, over 100,000 Okinawan people died. It was only like, well, it's still, every death is bad.